How is all this going to be impacting our Indian markets? We have a team of research joining in with us as always to set you up for trade, tell you which are the important stocks to watch out for in the trading session as well. First up, we have Hormaz joining in with us to get us the market cues that we should be keeping an eye out on. Obviously, a lot that are going to be happening in the world of IPO and new listings coming up. But market cues, what's the indication there, Hormaz?
Morning, Winnie. It's been a couple of days of consolidation, right, for the markets after the last week of a rally that we saw on the indices. The only difference being that the range is getting narrower. We traded in a 190-point range on Monday. That range came down to just 90 points in yesterday's trading session. We just managed to end in the green after recovering from the lows, and part of that is, of course, attributed to the Nifty Bank because that emerged as the outperformer, recovering almost 300 points from the lows of the day, and that recovery in the Nifty Bank happened courtesy of the outperformance that continues in the PSU Bank Index, which was up for the 6th straight day yesterday, has almost added almost close to 80,000 crore rupees in market cap over this 6-day up move in the PSU Bank Index. Now, even the broader markets saw a bit of a recovery in the second half of the trading session. We saw some profit booking initially, but the mid-cap index recovered almost 300 points from the lows. The small-cap index recovered from the lows as well, so that turns out to be a positive. Now, although they've made a lower high on the charts, the bulls will be happy for the fact that they still managed to hold on to 25,500 on the Nifty. Of course, as you mentioned, the big day today for HDB Financial, the biggest IPO of the year so far, will be listing today. It was a healthy response to the IPO led mainly by institutional investors, so we'll keep an eye out on that, and as a result of which we keep an eye out on its NBFC peers as well as to how they react to this valuation differential. Of course, Monday's high remains the key, 25,662. That's the first barrier to cross for the Nifty and for the Nifty Bank as well. The Monday's high, which is a record high level of 57,614, will be the key level to watch out for. Business updates continue. All eyes will now be on these big banks and the big FMCG companies as to what they report in their provisional updates for the quarter. For now, the GIFT Nifty is indicating a slightly subdued start. We see how the day unfolds.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye out on how the day unfolds. As of now, it's up 22 points. But let's move on and go across to Upasana, who's here to tell us which are the important stocks to watch out for in today's trading session. Good morning, Upasana.
Good morning, Winnie. First up, a lot of stocks in focus on the back of the monthly sales for the month of June in terms of auto sales. First up, let me start with Hero MotoCorp. The company has seen an uptick of 10% in terms of its auto sales at 5.54 lakh units on a Y-on-Y basis. Hyundai also in focus as company's total monthly sales stood at 60,924 units and company's SUV's contribution stood at 67.6% of the total domestic sales in June 2025. Maruti Suzuki also reported its numbers for the month of June, and the total sales was down nearly about 6.3%, largely in line with the CNBC poll on a Y-on-Y basis. Now let us look at the Q1 updates. Key stocks in focus. First up is the V-Mart Retail. The company's total revenue from operations saw an uptick of 12.6% on a Y-on-Y basis, and same store sales growth stood at just about 1%. South Indian Bank also reported its provisional numbers. It is a weak start for the year for the bank in terms of loans, and deposits saw an uptick of 9% on a Y-on-Y basis and sequentially saw growth of about 5%. MOIL is the next one on our radar. The price of all chemical grades have been increased by the company by nearly about 2% with effect from July 1. Lupin also in focus as US FDA has approved companies ANDA of loteprenol etabonate ophthalmic gel. Hence, this stock also will be in focus. RITES also will be in focus as the JV company has received LOA from Southwestern Railway for nearly about 37.8 crores. So, all in all these stocks will be on our radar today.
Okay, Upasana, thank you so much for that. But finally, Mangalam is here to tell us what's going to be happening in the world of F&O. Mangalam, like Hormaz was also mentioning, last couple of days of a bit of consolidation. So what should we watch out for now in the world of F&O?
Well, the market's biding time right now, ahead of any major triggers. So that's exactly what's taking place yesterday as well, and the previous trading session. The good part yesterday was there was recovery from lows that we saw towards the latter half of trade. The Nifty Bank was the one that led that recovery, and the mid-cap index absolutely flattish, and that was reflected in the advanced decline as well. Almost an equal number of stocks advanced and declined, so that ratio was split right down the middle. Those lines intersected towards the end. 2,000 crore worth selling by FIs in the cash market, nothing really to worry about. The DIs went ahead and bought close to 771 crores. Importantly, the FIIs also did not do much in index futures. A mild sell of close to around 116 crores, of which there was almost an equal amount of long and short additions. So their exposure, which was at 38% yesterday, stands at 37% today on the long side. And because it is consolidation that the street is playing for, and tomorrow is the weekly options expiry, the options that are active are also suggesting some sort of range-bound move. 25,500 put, that added close to around 35 lakh shares in premium. 60 rupees telling you around 25,450 is an important support. And on the way up, we have 25,650, 25,700, which is very close to the last couple of days' highs, where there is some supply which is likely, because that's where the 25,600 calls are extremely active. On the way down, we'll watch out for yesterday's low on the Nifty Bank as well as the Nifty. That suggests that there was some support from, even in consolidation levels, we saw some recovery from there. And in terms of stocks, IDFC First was fairly well bid yesterday, a lot of long positions added. And I'm watching out for a couple of these consumer durable names too. We saw a lot of long positions being added on names like Amber as well as Blue Star. So do watch out for that.
Okay, absolutely, Mangalam. We'll keep an eye out on these names as well. Thank you so much for that. But on